service in the house.
Bucket hat. It's bucket hat time.
TC, you're undefeated, man. You're undefeated.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the TC and Company podcast. Tom Caron with you here at Fenway Park. Man, it has been a week. You had the Toronto Blue Jays come into town and absolutely deliver a gut punch to the Red Sox, sweeping them and expanding their lead in the wild card race. Red Sox bouncing back with the win on Monday, the walk-off grand slam from Pablo Reyes. Then on Tuesday, the return of Trevor Story, but a loss to the Royals. And fans are not feeling good about things with 49 games remaining. You had the Alex Verdugo situation over the weekend, the residue of a lack of action at the trade deadline. So with all of that hovering over the team, we thought there was no better time to lighten the mood. We're not talking baseball today. We're talking banana ball. We are joined this week by Jesse Cole. He is the owner of the Savannah Bananas, a man who is revolutionizing the fan experience watching baseball, although it's banana ball officially, not baseball. It's a different sport. But he grew up right here. He's from Scituate, Mass., was a Sox bat boy, got to be the bat boy at 5 years old, pitched here in an all-star game later, played college baseball, a legitimate baseball player who found himself, like a lot of people, kind of finding the game a little slow and a little plodding. And before Major League Baseball put in their rule changes, he wanted to come up with changes that would make it a better fan experience. Thus, the Savannah Bananas were born, and now they're coming to New England and on Nesset. We'll be televising games from Hartford and Brockton and a couple of games up at Hadlock Field in Portland, and it is going to be a blast. So Jesse Cole joins me this week to talk about all of it. Coming to New England, the Savannah Banana experience, and what fans can expect as they come back. Jesse Cole, owner of the Savannah Bananas, on this week's TC and Company podcast. All right, Jesse, we know you are one of us. We know you're a New Englander. You've got some games coming up next week in New England, a little bit of a homecoming of sorts. No game in Scituate, I understand, but it's a bit of a homecoming, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Excited to be up in Brockton and Hartford and Portland. When you hit New England and where it all started for me, playing baseball and falling in love with the game, it's pretty special.
What I love about this whole concept is that it all began with the fan trying to make a better night out, a better night of engagement. Because, and listen, Major League Baseball, maybe coincidental, maybe not. They followed your lead, right? They've shortened the games up a little bit. I know you're not going to take credit for it, but it's a better product today, and it still needs help. But 3 years ago, I'm doing post-game shows saying, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I mean, these games are for... So you tried to figure out a way. You love baseball. You played the game. How do we make this more fun for fans? Did you ever imagine it would grow into something like this?
You could never imagine this. I mean, 7 years ago, when we started the team in Savannah, we only sold a couple tickets. By January of 2016, we were out of money, and my wife and I had to sell our house, empty out our savings account. We were sleeping on an airbed, grocery shopping with just $30 a week. And we knew we had to get people to experience the show and experience the game. So once they finally came and they start seeing, wow, it's nonstop entertainment, it's fun, it's faster paced, that's when people started seeing this could be something special. But still, we still had to change the game. I mean, we were playing traditional baseball when we started. And even with selling out games, people started leaving games early. So said, how do we make it more faster, more entertaining? And that's really what banana ball has become these days.
How did it come about? I mean, are these like you're sitting at a bar in Savannah on a napkin trying to figure out these rules? Like, how did you put this together?
Well, again, everything we do, the name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. So we put ourselves in our fans' shoes. So when we started our team in Savannah, we had our tickets, had no ticket fees, no convenient fees. They were all inclusive, all your burgers, hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, soda, water, popcorn, everything for $15 total. So every decision we made was fans first. And then as we saw, we were selling out of a game, but fans were leaving early. I said, what can we do to get fans to stay? And I said, look at all the boring parts of baseball, the slow parts, walks. Like you're in an athletic sport and a play is called a walk. All right. The guy stepping out of box. I remember watching a game, the Dodgers, Yasiel Puig, and I timed it. It was 32 to 35 seconds in between each pitch. He would come out, take all his time. And I was like, no stepping out, no bunts. All right. Swing the bat, no walks. And I said, oh, blowout game. And my dad came up with this, who plays golf. He said, what if you win the inning, you get a point, and every inning counts. So there's never blowouts, like match play. My dad said that one. And I said, what about the most fans first rule? What if a fan catches a foul ball? What if it's an out? And so we almost all these original rules, the Hall of Fame actually reached out, which is crazy. I put it in my idea book in 2018. I think 7 of the 9 original books was written down, just looking at whatever's normal, do the exact opposite and make it fun. And now that's what we're playing today.
The fan catch is obviously to me the coolest thing, but as a baseball guy, I love not only that the rule is no bunting, but that the full rule is no bunting because bunting sucks. Right?
And then if you bunt, you're actually ejected from the game.
Ejected from the game because it's an affront to the game. I love that.
You are thrown out. And then, I thought also you can steal first. So you penalize pitchers for throwing balls. You penalize pitchers for walking guys. So you keep the game moving. And we've played 70 games so far on this tour. In 65 of them, 9 innings under 2 hours. I mean, that's what's been.
Can I do the post-game show for you? Forget the Red Sox. When did it click? Like, when was the aha moment? Was there a game? You trotted it out, and I've read it all, and it picked up quickly. But was there a game you stood at and said, "Oh my God, we've got something here"? When was that aha moment? Well,
behind the scenes, not many people. So I went to Wofford College and went down south and played. And the first ever banana ball game, we played behind the scenes with the college team, and we were ready to play it. We had everyone. I told them all the rules. This was in 2018, and it rained out. So we didn't get to play the first game. So I ended up going. My other coach was coaching at Lander, a little small Division II school. We went there, and I told the guys the rules. They played 9 innings in 99 minutes. And that first one, I asked the guys, what'd you think? And the players said it was the most fun they've ever had playing baseball. And so from that first moment, I said, if the guys like it, if the players like it, we're on to something. And so from there on, we kept making iterations, innovating, and, just trying to get better. And now we even have a fan challenge. So if there's a play that they don't like, a call, once a game, there's a fan representative who can challenge a play with confetti and fan challenge. So the fans now, that's a new rule we put into play this year. And so we keep trying to add things to make the game a little bit more enjoyable, a little more exciting.
And I want to, for people who, I think we've all heard of you by now, and those of us in baseball have paid a lot of attention, but there's probably casual fans who don't. These guys can play baseball. I mean, let's not overlook the fact you've got ball players on the field.
Well, people don't realize. So this year alone, we've had 3 Cy Young Award winners pitch for us, numerous World Series champs, and then guys, first rounders, third rounders, pitchers throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. Most of the guys have pro experience. And what's impressive, when our center fielder started doing backflip catches to catch balls in the outfield in the middle of the game, I was like, I don't know many people in the world who can do that. And our shortstop, who's had over 100 trick plays. I mean, these guys practice religiously on catching balls between their legs, being able to do tricks. We have a guy on stilts who literally, 10 feet tall, is batting over 300 against guys throwing 90 miles an hour. It's crazy. And that's what surprises people. They see the circuits and the TikToks and all the videos, and then they come out, they're like, I didn't know they could play. And that's what's pretty cool about it.
Jonathan Papelbon, who's one of our guys, has played for you, and we'll get to him in a moment. But when did that stuff? Like, when did you cross that threshold? Wow, who was the first former major leaguer who said, "I want to be part of this"? How did that happen?
So we tested at the colleges first, and then I was like, we got to test this on the road. So we decided to have a 1-city world tour. So we literally announced it, the 1-city world tour, larger than life, kind of my P.T. Barnum and me. And we said, who wants us? And so we got Mobile, Alabama out of nowhere. Their mayor reached out. He read my first book. He was into it. He's like, we want you guys. We'll roll out the yellow carpet. I was like, we're in, because no one else is rolling out the yellow carpet. And we showed up, and Jake Peavy, who's from Mobile, Alabama, Jake Peavy said, hey, I'd love to be a part of this. I love what you're doing. And he came out, and he was very unsure, skeptical. His nephew, 12-year-old kid, baseball player, stud, had quit baseball the week before. He came out that night and watched the game. And that night he said, I'm back. I want to play. I want to play like this. This is fun. And now he got back playing. And Jake said, I watched a 12-year-old kid who gave up on baseball watch this. He goes, I'm 100% in. So Jake then became ambassador, started pitching for us. He travels with us. He's a big part. We talk all the time. So he was the first one to get a Cy Young Award winner, and a guy like Jake Peavy. That was the first one. That was a huge win for us.
You get him to play at all, perform with the guitar? I mean, because the guy's legit.
Oh, he's a great musician. But the first time he pitched, so I said, Jake, he's like, oh, I want to pitch in Alabama. So we're playing at the Rickwood. 1908 old ballpark, the oldest ballpark in America. And he comes out and he's like, Jesse, I want to show you this. And he brings out his gold glove. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. He goes, I'm going to pitch in it. I go, no, you're not. And he's like, he takes the mound with his gold glove. I'm like, this guy was built for a banana ball. So he went out and pitched and got a strikeout, and he came out and pitched again this year. And, from there, again, you name it, Barry Zito, Eric Gagne, Hunter Penn, Shane Victorino, Johnny Gomes, Dustin Pedroia, Kevin Youkilis, have all thrown out first pitches that count. So again, if you throw a first pitch for us, it's going to count. I'm not going to let you just throw an easy first pitch. So we've had so many guys involved. It's just been a joy to see, enjoy to watch.
That is awesome. Jonathan Papelbon, I asked him yesterday, and I thought he'd give me just the nice little answer. Yeah, it was fun, right? I had a great time. He got really deep. Like almost what you're saying about Jake Peavy's nephew. Jonathan Papelbon said, I was pretty much done with baseball. I was burnt out. He said I was emptying the tank. I was, with family, Mississippi, didn't know if he was ever going to get involved in baseball again. The night with you guys, wearing a kilt, throwing with his World Series trophy on the back of the mound. By the way, I told him, we used to talk about he had mound presence. You got no mound presence with a kilt, all right? So you better throw with a little extra something if you throw with a kilt. But he said literally, he wouldn't be doing games on NESN as an analyst today if it wasn't for that experience. It made him love baseball. You're engaging people and making them baseball fans again.
No, that means a lot. And, he embraced it fully. He pitched back-to-back nights in the kilt, even though he said I could barely lift his arm. He goes, oh, it's a showdown, which is, again, we don't have extra innings. It goes to a showdown, pitcher versus hitter. I look at him, I go, Paps, we're going into a showdown. All right, let's do it. And he literally takes them out, throws one pitch, gets an out, and it came off. And it was just unbelievable. And I think, we started playing this game as kids to play to have fun. And somewhere along the way, a lot of us, the competitiveness, the contracts, the pressure, sometimes that fades a little bit. And to see him and Johnny Damon and other guys come out here and just have fun, that's the greatest joy for me, because I watched all these guys looking up to them when I played or when I was a kid. And now to see them having so much fun with us, it means the world. So I really believe it's just the start. And that's really kind to hear that from Jonathan.
All right. You said the P.T. Barnum in you. Clearly, nothing is too outrageous to at least try. Except who came up with the concept that Bill Lee would rise from the dead in your bullpen? Because that seems a bit far-fetched.
Bill Lee told me, he said, you better believe I believe I'm going to die on the mound, but I'm not going to die in the bullpen with a few expletives mixed in there. And so he made sure. And literally, he walked off the field that day. And by the next day, he's throwing a first pitch that counts for a strike. And, he's the eighth wonder of the world. Bill Lee has been, he's had so many appearances from us and he's getting outs. He's 76 years old and he's keeping these guys off balance and throwing strikes. It's been special to watch Bill, obviously another guy that's loved up in Boston. And we just can't wait to have him be up around us even more.
He cuts down trees at his place in Craftsbury, Vermont, and makes bats out of that. It's unbelievable. The guy, he's perfect for you guys. It's a match made in heaven. So you've had a one city world tour. Now you've had a world tour. You're coming up to New England. What's next? Where do you go? I know there's been a lot of talk and rumors about trying to get you to play at major league ballparks. Where does this go? Where do you see this all going?
It's crazy. We went to one city, then went to 7 cities last year, and then started selling out major league spring training homes. We're like, oh, okay, let's go bigger. Let's go 33 cities. But we're only gonna do maybe one stop in each one of these cities because, we got to spread it out. We don't know how much. The demand went through the roof, and, the wait list just hit 900,000 for tickets. And so when that happened, so we sold out everything. We were like, we got to start looking at bigger venues. So fortunately, as we were thinking that, major league teams started reaching out. And over the last year, we've heard from almost half the major league teams. And so we'll go to major league stadiums. We'll look at international. We'll look at different venues. But, the thing that, Tom, that we're really excited about is the game of banana ball. I believe in this game. I've watched it. I've watched kids fall in love with it. I watched my 5-year-old son does trick plays in the backyard every day. We're going to build this game. We believe it's something special. And so, whether there's more teams in the future, whether there's, some form of a league, I think we're looking at all those opportunities, but it's all based on creating one fan at a time. And so we are obsessed with the fan first experience. And that's what we're trying to do wherever we go.
Love that. And is it strange to you? Is it gratifying to you? It's almost come full circle, right? This begins because Major League Baseball had kind of become a somewhat flawed product, right? It had gone from the game we loved as kids. I'm older than you. When I watched kids, when I was a kid watching games, they were 2.5-hour games, right? You didn't have a phone to look at, but you weren't looking at anything in between pitches. And then it became whatever it was, 4-hour games of a couple years ago. Now you've got Major League Baseball kind of coming to you, right? You know what I mean? You kind of expose some weaknesses, but you did it out of love of the game. It wasn't ridiculing the game ever. You love baseball. You thought there was a way to make parts of it better. It's kind of cool that it's come full circle now where Major League Baseball is talking to you.
It's wild. I got to be an honorary bat boy for the Red Sox when I was 5 years old. And I sat on the bench next to Lee Smith and Roger Clemens and Wade Boggs and Jody Reed. I was there and I got to pitch at Fenway in an all-star game when I was 20 years old. So, to see that and looking up to all these guys and now seeing, what I realize this Major League Baseball, the best baseball players in the world, no question about it. We're just trying to be the most entertaining and the most fun. And both of us, I think, are hopefully growing the game and getting more kids playing. More people realize that the game can be fun and there's ways to do it, that it's not just so serious. And I think, you're watching with Major League players. They're doing more celebrations in the dugouts. There's a lot more things happening, and that's great for the game. My dad told me when I played, Jesse, act like you've done it before. And I'm like, no, these days you want to act like you're having fun to inspire kids to want to have fun. And so it's a twist of the game, and it's just been a joy to be a part of it.
Is there a correlation to the Harlem Globetrotters? Is that, because obviously they can play. Those guys are skilled, and I've heard that analogy a million times, but it doesn't seem quite right to me. But how do you take that?
Yeah, and I take it as first a compliment. Someone I've studied, not only P.T. Barnum, Walt Disney, and Saturday Night Live and WWE, but I've studied everything on the Globetrotters. In the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the Globetrotters were the biggest team in sports. They beat the Lakers. Wilt Chamberlain played for the Globetrotters. They sold out Madison Square Garden twice in the same day. They played in front of 75,000 people in Berlin. They were the biggest act in the world. And then they realized, hey, it's easier if we just do the same show every night. We have the Washington Generals we beat, and we did that, and they still built a great following. In that sense, we are dramatically different. The Bananas have lost 25 games this year. It is not a scripted game. The Globetrotters travel with 30 people. We travel with 130 to 150. We bring the pep band, the male cheerleading team, the breakdancing coaches, the Banana Nanas senior citizen dance team, the players on stilts, the jugglers. We bring the whole circus. And every game, you never know who's going to win. So in that sense, we're not trying to be the same show every night. We're doing 10 to 15 things brand new every single show. And it's a competitive. The Bananas lose, and it's tough. The fans are like, what just happened? The Bananas aren't supposed to lose. I'm like, that's the way sometimes banana ball goes. And that's what we're trying to build. So I appreciate the comparison, but it is dramatically different from where they are now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The same thing. You know what I mean? When you go to a Globetrotters game, they're going to end up beating the Generals. I mean, that's just that's the way you go. It is scripted. When you talk about these rules, have you ever had a serious conversation with Major League? Like, if they ever come to you and talked about a rule? Is there anything here like the XFL, right? As the original XFL, as much of a renegade league as that was, the NFL stole a couple things from it eventually.
Yeah. Not directly from Major League Baseball. Like I said, we've heard from numerous teams. There's been lots of conversations, but in regards to the rules, Major League Baseball has got some very smart people who see everything, have more analytics and data. They're looking at all that. They're doing a good job. We're a different game. I mean, we're going to add unique rules. Like we said, we just put in the fan challenge, which is crazy in the middle of the game.
Love that.
Yeah, so we're going to keep doing new rules, and we can work very fast. We don't need to go through a players union or ownership, or like we see something, we put that fan challenge because a game ended on a missed call. So by the next game, we had the fan challenge in play. We can move fast. And so we're going to continue to do that. And, like I said, maybe there's a marriage, but Major League Baseball taking 20, 30 minutes off the game. That's a big win. Now I think it's, again, how do you add more entertainment, more fun, more music, more that, get the players more involved? I think it's going to be the next big step for MLB.
Couple last things I want to ask you. One, did I see, and I might have seen this wrong, are you playing an MLBPA team? Are you playing a team of alumni players?
Yeah. So we played against Nick Swisher, Bronson Arroyo, all those guys. Yeah, we played 2 games against them. We got one more at the end of this year.
How cool is that? I mean, these are the guys, the game was built on, right? Guys who kind of trickled in originally. Yeah. Now you've actually got them together as an organization being part of this.
Take it us. Yeah. See Heath Bell sprinting from the outfield, a different age now than he was before to pitch against us and watch, and then Johnny Damon, he played for us, then he played for them. And so he bounces around a little bit. Jeremy Guthrie, some guys that just, really had some good careers. It's fun. I mean, for the guys, our players are like, I can't believe I'm now, we pitched against Nick Swisher. He led off the game. We're playing at the Steinbrenner Field in New York Yankees spring training home. And we set up our catcher set up behind him and literally set up behind him. And they threw a perfect strike. And you watch Swisher's face. He's like, what? He didn't know what was happening. And then all of a sudden our catcher's going between his legs. He's crawling between his legs. And then as he's crawling between his legs, another pitch is coming. And Swisher didn't even see the pitch coming. And then Nick's like, what did I just get into? And it's those types of things that it's just so fun to see. And we're going to hopefully continue that relationship, see where it goes.
And I want to end it on this. I love the idea of a league, and I'd written that down as a note. So the idea, you could literally grow this, right? You could add a banana ball league.
I think anything's possible at this point, but you better believe we're hearing from more players now than we've ever heard. I mean, literally hundreds of players that are interested in playing. And so we're going to keep building it one team at a time. See, people don't realize the Party Animals right now have 2 million followers. They have more followers than any Major League Baseball team on TikTok. They're our second team. So we're going to then maybe build a third team. You build a fan base. You build fans first before you jump into having a league. So we're going to play the long journey, and you'll see what'll happen.
Incredible. We'll see you up here in New England. Welcome home. Got to get you to Fenway. Got to get the man with the yellow tux here at Fenway Park. But back in New England, we'll take it. Jesse, thanks so much for the time. Continued success. It's been so much fun to watch.
Thank you. We can't wait to come out there.
Such a cool guy. And by the way, I know most of you hear this and don't see it. He was wearing his yellow tuxedo. Has 7 of them, according to the bio I read. So this is a guy who lives the part and really is engaging a whole new generation of fans in the sport of baseball. Maybe they come into it through banana ball, but a lot of them, as you heard, are following it from there to professional baseball. And that's good for the sport. Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas, exactly what baseball needed at this moment in time. You can catch them on Nesson 4 times next week, Hartford and Brockton, a couple of games at Hadlock Field. Check your local listings to find out when those games are on, but we can't wait to see them and to bring it to you on Nesson. Next week, we'll get back to baseball. Hopefully Red Sox will be back to winning some games here and try to make these last 6-7 weeks a little more interesting, but we'll get to that next week. Hope you had fun listening and talking banana ball with us this week in the TC and Company podcast. Thanks for listening.